boys are back. Elon Musk and Donald Trump spotted together at Mar-A-Lago after Trump ended the communist dictatorship in Venezuela. By the way, shout out to all my Venezuelan friends. For those who don't know, I spent a few years living in South America and met many people who had fled Venezuela, all with the same tale. Reached out to many of them in the last couple of days. Everyone over the moon. In case anyone watching is dumb enough to still watch and or believe the fake news and the one true narrative, you might be under the impression that there's some concerns about the removal of this dictator. Mixed opinions, a little bit of division among Venezuelans, questions about whether this was appropriate or right, and I guess you'll just never know.
Gente, Maduro fue capturado.
No lo podía creer cuando estaba viendo esto. No lo puedo creer. Se fue Maduro.
Bro, está pasando. Está pasando.
Muchos años esperando esta pronta libertad, que todavía, bueno, pero por lo menos...
¡Ah! ¡Estamos libres! ¡Gracias, Dios! ¡Viva Venezuela, mi madre! ¡Vecinos, piénsense que estamos libres! ¡Mi gente libre! Libre, agarraron a Maduro, se fueron ya, qué felicidad, Dios, gracias. Voy a ir para Los Roques, voy a ir para Margarita, voy a ir para mi tierra bella, Dios mío, Venezuela, coño. Te amo, te amo. Gracias, Dios, gracias, Señor. Mi gente, Dios mío, no sé ni cómo explicarle ni qué decirle, pero el régimen de Maduro se fue, tío Donald Trump. Gracias, tío. Gracias, tío. ¡Viva Venezuela, coño! ¡Viva Venezuela, hermano! ¡Sí! ¡Sí! ¡Adiós, Maduro! ¡Adiós, chavita! ¡Adiós! ¡Váyanse a la mierda!
No sabes la emoción que siento que mi país sea libre. Estoy temblando, estoy emocionada.
Que mis futuras generaciones, que los niños de ahora en Venezuela no van a pasar todo lo que hemos pasado. O sea, porque no priva de libertad. ¡Que yo Maduro!
These are historical news. This is history in the making. I mean, my chest, it feels like it's gonna explode with joy. Like,
If that doesn't moisten the eyes, there is definitely something severely wrong with you. Now, the reason for sharing this was just to emphasize once again how distorted the one true narrative, pushed, conveyed, purported, disseminated by the left-hearted media is versus the reality. I challenge anyone who happens to have some friends from Venezuela, either refugees who fled or even still living in Venezuela. Ask them how they feel today. Now, why am I even bringing up the fake news on a video about Tesla, who get completely reasonable and fair coverage and have for their entire lifetime as a publicly traded company that spends almost $0 advertising in any of the mainstream media, which definitely wouldn't influence a bias against Tesla anyway. I don't know why I said that. And there is actually a reason. The tide may at least slightly be turning. This is quite remarkable. ABC News reports on David, you may have seen, who recently, by the way, the irony is just incredible. David is a literal LiDAR salesperson. Recently traveled coast to coast in the US using Tesla FSD and managed to do so, wait for it, with a whopping 0 interventions. This in and of itself, I mean, shouldn't really be too surprised, the technology, but the fact that this is being reported by ABC is actually quite shocking. It is admittedly an extremely short article, possibly even AI generated, I don't know. Is there an author on this? Let's try and see. There is apparently an author. But the very fact that ABC is reporting this, and it's not a hit piece on Tesla, is actually extremely surprising. Perhaps after finding out, ABC decided it's not worth it to lie, mislead and deceive the public. In case you missed it, late last year, December 16th, ABC settles with Orange Man Bad for $15 million. This was part of a settlement for a defamation lawsuit he brought against the network. Maybe they did learn their lesson. Incentives matter. But wait, there's more. And you definitely want to be sitting down for this. Imagine a world, you don't even have to, it's actually happened, in which the official Cybertruck account on X is reposting a video from none other than CBS. I mean, they literally tell you what you'll find if you tune in. Tune in and CBS actually reposting a video about Tesla. So, everything they ever publish is a hit piece. What's going on here? Well, before we watch this clip, first, more important context. You guys may recall the worst presidential candidate in the history of the United States of America, hands down, no contest, allegedly, a walking train wreck known as Kamala, totally earned it, Harris. And if you happen to be a user on X, you may have heard about this, otherwise you wouldn't even know. 60 Minutes conducted an interview with this extremely qualified presidential candidate and made some selective edits that appeared to add at least 2, maybe 3 standard deviations. However, they screwed up by accidentally, or maybe intentionally, maybe it was an internal saboteur, posting some segments that were unedited of the same interview, thereby exposing themselves for having meaningfully edited the final output. The social media team must not have got the memo. Hey guys, make sure you put the same edit we put on air on social media. Otherwise, people are going to know we edit out the word salads to make us sound not like an absolute fucking moron. Anyway, long story short, they got busted. Trump was mad. It was an outrage. Absolute election interference, no question. Trying to make a candidate look far more competent, capable, articulate, and intelligent than they actually are. Changing the answers, not cool. Anyway, CBS ends up with a $16 million settlement with Trump. Yeah, now, by the way, CBS is not ABC. These are separate. Now, why would it be that media outlets, multiple in the US, are having multi-million-dollar settlements with a presidential candidate? Now, the president, unless, of course, they were trying to control the one true narrative, distort reality, and are partisan political hacks. Well, we've just seen ABC posting something fair and reasonable about Tesla, the intervention-free coast-to-coast drive. Maybe it's totally unrelated to the settlement. Now, here's CBS, who we just saw that clip from the Cybertruck account reposting. Before we get to that, though, watch this recent clip from the very same network, CBS. This, in and of itself, although it's talk at the moment, actions speak louder than words. Just listen. This is remarkable to hear from a fake news, left-leaning propaganda outlet. Make sure you sit down for this. I'm serious. This actually was real and actually went to air. It's not AI.
A lot has changed since the first person sat in this chair, but for me, the biggest difference is people do not trust us like they used to. And it's not just us, it's all of legacy media. And I get it. I get it because I've been hearing about it from just about everybody for more than 20 years as I've traveled America on this assignment or that. My mom's neighbors in West Virginia, my own neighbors in New York City, thousands and thousands of conversations in between. Sometimes people want to talk to me about our coverage of NAFTA or the Iraq War. Other times it's all about Hillary Clinton's emails or Russiagate. Or more recently, COVID lockdowns, Hunter Biden's laptop, or the president's fitness for office. The point is, on too many stories, the press has missed the story because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you. And I know this because at certain points, I have been you. I have felt this way too.
Now, even though this is just talk and talk is cheap, it's remarkable to hear one of the left-leaning, that's pretty much all of them except for Fox, mainstream media, aka propaganda outlets, admitting not only, at least this anchor, not only has he been hearing for 20 fucking years people are losing trust, but he specifically names a few major recent stories that were either missed, downplayed, audiences were received. He even admitted, although wasn't quite completely direct about it, putting too much weight on the opinions of advocates. I mean, it was might be a little bit too dangerous to just call out your pharmaceutical advertisers directly and go, the whole scamdemic and the pharmaceutical advertising. But hey, and he also mentions being a little bit too reliant upon the opinions, the analyses of academics, or as I prefer to describe them, academics. I know, that's so smart. You said academic. Oh, you're so intelligent, you moron. But the truth is, as I've said for many years now, academia's gone down the fucking toilet. There is no higher concentration of people with a 3-digit IQ who are absolutely brain dead, disconnected from reality, so far gone and extremely arrogant to the point they will not even consider that the opinions and facts that they're hearing in their lunchroom on campus could possibly either be wrong or even slightly differ from the overall opinions of people in the world. Now, there are a few exceptions. Most end up shunned from academia, but we just have to call a spade a spade. Most academics are completely gone, and not just gone, but have absolutely no self-awareness to realise they live in a massive bubble. The fact that he specifically called out academia and quote-unquote advocates, aka activists, this is a big step forward, because it's true. Let's continue after you pick up your jaw from the floor.
I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life, and that the most...
Now, this is a remarkable admission. Bro, moments ago, was explaining how he's been hearing for 20 years, basically, we don't trust you. Fair enough. Then he goes on to say that he personally has felt that too, and then goes on to explain that he himself, again, he's trying to be a little bit delicate with the wording, but has seen stuff, heard stuff in the fake news, and again, he's saying it as delicately as he can, which he knows is bullshit. Let's just listen to this again. There's no other way to interpret this. In other words, I have noticed that we, not just necessarily his network, but we, the fake news, have been lying to the public. I have in fact noticed this recently, seen lies, aka it doesn't match with what I'm seeing in my own life. We know, and I know, that we have been lying to you.
Because at certain points, I have been you. I have felt this way too. I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life, and that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked. So,
truly incredible. Now, there's a very obvious reason for why this is occurring right now. It's called X, growing like wildfire. I've said in the past, and I will say again, the most important contribution Elon Musk has made, by far, so far, to humanity. It's not Tesla, not Neuralink, it's not SpaceX, although SpaceX eventually maybe. It was buying X. Without that having happened, we were collectively fucked. And X is the reason why we are now hearing outlets like CBS admit that they've been lying to you. Without Musk's acquisition of X, formerly known as Twitter, formerly a cesspool of left-hearted propaganda and only the one true narrative, I speak from personal experience. My account was regularly shadow banned, blacklisted, and demoted. And for what, you might ask? I never did anything worse than stating that a mentally ill man who claims he's a woman is a mentally ill man claiming he's a woman, not a woman. I know, it's so controversial. I also asked a few questions about the necessity and impact of forcibly locking people in their homes, bankrupting small businesses. Just the typical far right-wing conspiracy theorist propaganda talking points. What the fake news outlets have discovered in the years since Musk acquired X is they cannot lie to their audiences anymore and get away with it. Not only that, but every time a viewer of the fake news, the legacy media, sees a single example, unless they're like completely brain dead, in which case they'll never learn. Shout out to my academic friends. But if you see a single example of the mainstream media outright lying to you about something, you catch them. Unless you're an absolute fucktard, you go, hang on, why would they have intentionally deceived me about something? That's dishonest. That's a character flaw of this network. Why on earth would they intentionally deceive me? They're lying to me on purpose. That's not okay. I can't trust them. Next minute, these people find themselves on X. As the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Now, whether it was people discovering that there was in fact a laptop, or that he wasn't in fact sharp as a tack, or that Elon wasn't in fact a Nazi, or I could go on and on and on and on. A single example, a viewer who previously trusted these networks and outlets sees that and go, hang on a minute, why the hell are they lying to me? That's not cool. Where can I go where I can just go direct to the source and not be lied to? So I don't want to give too much credit here. The legacy media outlets have had their hand forced. They didn't decide, oh, you know what, now it's time to stop lying to everybody. We realize that's bad. We're going to stop lying to everybody. They're bleeding viewers. They're collapsing. Their viewerships are imploding. So they are now getting desperate. That's not to say this isn't a positive change, but I just don't want to overplay too much this change of tune. Again, we've had the lawsuits, the settlements with Trump, Musk buying X, independent content creators, and X stealing audience, growing share. Regardless though, this is a positive development.
Here's my promise to you. Today and every time you see me in this chair, you come first. Not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests.
So, holy shit. Again, talk is cheap, but if we take a moment and just contemplate what we've just heard, tacit in this statement is the fact that prior to now, when I sat in this chair, advertisers, not the audience, advertisers may have come first. We may have, in fact, suggested to our audience that it's safe, effective, necessary, and for your protection, not their quarterly profits. Hypothetically, I mean, I don't even know why I would say something like that. It's got nothing to do with anything He also tacitly implied that prior to now, corporate interests may have come first. I mean, he's basically just going down a list. Yep, okay, we essentially admit it, but not directly admitting it. We were beholden to our advertisers, politicians, corporate interests, and whatever, and whoever wanted us to control and broadcast the one true narrative. This really is an astonishing moment.
And yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS. I report for you, which means I tell you what I know, when I know it, and how I know it. And when I get it wrong, I'll tell you that too. It also means I'm going to talk to everybody and hold everyone in public life to the very same standard. After all, I became a journalist to talk to people. I love talking to people about what works in this country, what doesn't, and not only what should change, but the good ideas that should never change. I think telling the truth is one of them. I'm Tony DeCopel, the anchor of the CBS Evening News. Hold me to it.
And that finally brings us to this clip, CBS. Although it was a local CBS, so it's not quite at the national level, but hey, whatever. I'll let this clip speak for itself.
Tonight, a story about a split-second decision that saved a life. When we usually talk about self-driving cars, it's after something goes wrong. A glitch, a failure, an accident. This story is different. On a lonely stretch of Highway 54 in New Mexico, Clifford Lee says he's alive tonight, not because of his own reflexes, but because of his Cybertruck, in full self-driving mode, made the decision for him. Check this out. Keep your eyes on the headlights in the distance. In about 10 seconds, you will see a life or death decision that will take your breath away.
Then it hit me that I almost got killed, actually. I was shaking uncontrollably for a while.
Clifford Lee was heading northbound on a long road trip through New Mexico on Highway 54, using Tesla's full self-driving mode, or FSD.
It is a 2-lane highway.
A massive big rig was heading his way. Behind it, the driver of a pickup truck, growing impatient. All Clifford saw were headlights.
I think it was like a 5-second out. And around the 3-second, I realized he would not make it. He doesn't look like he was making any progress in front of the semi. And I couldn't tell exactly whether he was already beyond the center line or not, but he was getting so close. I'm traveling 75 at the time. I tried to jerk it and already car was moving.
There was no room for error. An overcorrection would have bounced Clifford's Cybertruck off the guardrail.
And I tried to turn around and FSD must be kicked in. Quite frankly, I don't remember what I did and when I did what.
Here it is, slowed down and multiple angles. He says FSD surgically maneuvered the Cybertruck out of a potentially deadly head-on.
So you get the point. A local CBS, in Austin in fact, network, opens this segment by admitting they usually report on when things go wrong. Yet is this the first time one of these networks has voluntarily provided a little bit of counterbalance after all? For every one thing going wrong, you will find many dozens, if not hundreds of things going extremely right. We see them on X all the fucking time. This is a nice step in the right direction. Now again, if I'm being cynical here, fake news has had its hand forced, losing viewership, they've lost trust. What are they going to do? They can dig their heels in and just go completely off the deep end, or try to regain a little bit of that trust. I do have to say, with Tesla Robotaxis beginning to scale up this year, the timing couldn't be better. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.